Hi, it's Jay. I wasn't necessarily gonna film this specific video, but it just came to mind now, and I'm like, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Um, I've mentioned the universe and I've mentioned vibrations and all of that before, so I'm sure you guys know that I am very into that. I believe it very much so. And I'd like to tell you guys the story of how I kind of manifested, and it's so strange to think that way, but it's true. I did kind of manifest my first job where I manifested it, and I love it. I love the story. I love telling it, and I had thought about doing it when I was doing the audio videos, but I was like, no, I want to actually have people see my facial expressions because it was just such an amazing experience. So, the year that I was in college, I was part of a kind of lift club in the morning, and I would be picked up, and we would go to the next kind of little area where we picked up another girl, and we, um, so the guy who drove took different routes in that area to get to the main road on the way to drop us off. And quite often, I used to look forward to him going on the specific road that took him to driving past a specific house. And I just loved this house, guys. Like, you have no idea. I loved this house so much because the way it was built it's still there. The way it's built, it's kind of got like a kind of Japanese vibe about it, just the layout of the house. And its garden as well was just so beautiful. You could just see that the people living there took care of the garden. And every now and then I would see like an old lady walking outside in the mornings. And so, something about me from the time I was really young, I had this thing where if I drive wherever, wherever, yeah, I still can't English properly sometimes, most times. Whenever we would be anybody's driving, whoever I'm with, driving past a specific house, I would always think to myself, I want to go there. I want to meet the people who stay there. I want to ask them questions about um, just checking zippers in the back. I want to ask them questions about their house, about why they chose it, why they, if they built it, why they wanted it built the way it has been built. And I always had this thing, and this house was one of those. And I literally used to long to for this guy to drive past this house. I used to love it. I just loved it. And at the end of that year, I had started giving my CV out to apply for like jobs, obviously. Um, and I kind of knew I'd end up working with kids for a bit with my mom. My mom was a teacher, and she was going to be starting at, oh, I can't remember the timeline correctly, but she either was going to be starting or was already working at a different school to one she had previously been working to for a very long time. And she came to me the one day, and she was like, so my boss is looking for someone to come and help, and she asked about you. So I was like, okay, sure. And I told my mother I was going to be working with her. She didn't see it happening, but I knew it was going to be happening. I was just, it was a waiting game. So anyway, got accepted, went there for the first day. So basically, what it was is that our, well, my previous boss, my mom still works there, but I'll say um, our boss had a kind of place built just outside her house on her property, and that was where she had babies being looked after there. And she had basically been running a school, ne- next door, basically. Yeah, so anyway, I go with my mom, and so through our boss's property into the next one, and then we were just unlocking that house and opening up the school. And I'm there drawing the curtains in my mom's classroom, which was like a bedroom because it's a house that was operating as a school. And I'm there drawing the curtains, and I'm looking out into this garden, and I froze. Like, I froze because I'm like, I know this garden. This scarily familiar. And needless to say, I realized I was in the very same house that I spent the whole of last year wondering what it's like inside and just loving how it looked, loving everything about it. And I rushed to my mom. I was like, Mom, you will not believe this. You will not believe this. But like, but. And I told her the story. And even she was like, that just means you are meant to be here. And I was like, yeah. Oh my gosh, it really does bring a smile to my face recalling that. Wow. That was just before COVID. And then COVID struck and we had to close. The school, my mom's still working there now, but in a different area. A lot of things have changed with that place. It's now being used as a house and rented out to people. But I just think when we get to experience such things like this, it just, well, for me, it just reminds me all the more of the magic about, reminds me about and of the magic that this universe that we live in holds, and the miracles and the most like amazing things that can happen out of the blue. I mean, can you imagine? I was literally there, standing in that room, looking out the window at the very same garden that we drove past. And I was like, I used to think all the time, I would love to know what it's like in that house. And I ended up being in that house, working in it. And I loved working there when I did. Such good memories. But if I were to call this a manifestation success story, then that is what it is. It is for sure a manifestation success story. Yeah. So longish story, but I believe it was worth it. It just goes to show, as I said, the magic of this universe to be able to bring things like that into fruition. Believe, guys, believe, and don't anchor yourself in disbelief or just thinking something is too good to be true or too good to necessarily end up happening for you. I mean, it's obviously a very simple story, but for me, I was just so amazed. And looking back when I was working there, it was just such such happiness. And I will forever be grateful to have had that experience, and forever be grateful to have been able to be in that house and walk in that garden with children who I grew to adore and admire their ways of thinking and looking at things, and all goodness, all goodness, all positivity, fondness, goodness. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story, and I hope you have an amazing day ahead, night ahead, whatever it is, time wise. I hope you enjoy it. And just remember to believe always in yourself. Love you guys. Take care. Bye. Mwah.